All right, welcome. This is Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, and I'm here going live through my phone. I'm going to set up a chat here. It's going to be hard to kind of chat and type and do all of this at the same time. Let's see if I can get a little strong setup here. Um, but hopefully we'll be able to broadcast. I'll move a little closer. We're going to keep this a little shorter because my phone is not really set to really broadcast this well in this manner. So we're going to get started here. Welcome to Circle Grace One. I'm your host, Chief Principal Teacher and Founder, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. The Circle Grace One was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. It gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute on February the 7th, 2009, and both come under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. I've been on my path for about 42 years. Now, tech wise, I'm still learning. There's so many different ways in which to do these broadcasts, so we're coming across in different ways right now as backup, as they say, so that we can do these shows. So today's show, we started roughly, here we are 40 minutes late, but we're going to conduct at least an hour and a half. We'll see how it flows. I want to let you know that I'm here and broadcasting live, so bear with me as I put up a greeting here. And as always, I always say it's a challenge, but an interesting challenge. So, and actually learn more as time goes on. And always want to make sure that people are getting good quality information. And, this is how it flows, as they say. So, if you are, when you do join me, if you're joining me live, uh, I am working with a smaller unit, and that is my mobile phone. Oop, and there we go. This is the fun times of trying to get everything in motion. All right, and I'll have to hold my phone. So we want to make sure that we're going to do some kind of a broadcast. I was going to go on a little later. I was going to probably do it on as a pre-recorded show through Ustream and then upload it later. But I decided here that I'll just go this method for now, and maybe a little later I will go on and maybe attempt to come back and do the show live. Usually, what happens is you have hundreds of people broadcasting on these online shows, and what I've learned to find out is major radio and TV stations are on here as well. So not just people like myself or people who come on and get to do these shows also a little later, but you've got MNBC is on here, CNN people on here, Fox News Channel has theirs, ABC, NBC, you name it. They all have their different extensions of themselves throughout the internet, as well as all of the AM and FM stations, and then other individuals as well. So I've been finding out that, you know, just about any day of the week, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, there's something going on through all of these social media platforms, as well as Ustream, you name it, Ulog. I've been on just about all of them, Justin TV. I've done numerous ones. So even YouTube wanted to have a live platform that didn't pan out too well for many of us. So I'm on here. Today is the 15th of September of 2016. Through divine power and by divine grace, may this show do something for you today. May it give you an opportunity to gain interesting information as well as things that you can use on a daily basis, and meaning that you could put it right into motion. Amen, and so shall it be. Now, yesterday I was on Blog Talk Radio for about 30 minutes, and I was talking about and made a comment, and it was about how your words, you become what you're saying through the power of your words. And yesterday I was calling it "You Are Who You Say You Are," or who you say that you are. And what I meant by that was certain words used to describe ourselves with or describe our experiences and even our current experiences. So we often find out that what happens is the words that we use continuously have a lot of power, a lot of energy behind them, and they also evoke images. And the images, most of the time, are based on our previous experiences, whether they were good experiences or bad experiences. Nonetheless, it was an experience that may have overwhelmed us. In most cases, some people had very traumatic experiences based on the words that they've used, words that other people use with them or against them. And of course, this sets up a chain of reaction, like a domino effect in our lives. And likewise, if we are using very positive words, then those positive words can set up also a domino effect where it continuously brings in something new, a brand new experience for ourselves. So, what we find ourselves doing is learning how to grow in that awareness. That's what this is about. Learning how to grow in our awareness, learning how to grow in our remembrance. What is it that we are holding on to? We all are holding on to something or many things, different layers. We all do it all the time. We call it a trigger, or a button. Someone will say something to you and you get upset. Um, as an example, many people have experienced over and over again the feeling of abandonment, and not only just the feeling of abandonment, but the actual experience that one goes through. And if you've ever experienced being abandoned, whether it's by a sibling, a parent, an elder, a close friend, a mate, partner, a business associate, if you've ever been abandoned, usually that very difficult emotional charged energy still is embedded in your psyche. It's embedded in your subconscious mind. It's embedded in your unconscious state, because in your unconscious state, you're not truly aware that you're holding on to such a bad or negative experience. And often what happens is sometimes people forget the power of their own words. Now, here's another example. Let's say someone needed some kind of assistance. Maybe you had a vehicle difficulty with your car, and you got it to one location, but then you're waiting for someone to pick you up from the location. Or it's time to go get it and you're still waiting. So, but those are important right at that moment. But the energy of it, when you're not getting the full response that you need, it's like tied back, tied back, and it's very, very difficult. So, from time to time to time, it takes a great deal of energy for people to move forward. And as people are moving forward, it can trip you up. I mean, there's plenty of occasions we've experienced all the time when people go out on dates. When someone goes out on a date with somebody, you're meeting someone, it could be, blind date, you don't even know the person, and you can get stood up. I've had plenty of friends going on blind dates, talking to the person over the phone, and then they're scheduled to meet at a certain location. It could be like New York City, any place that's big, or any place that's local. And the person, who didn't want to go there doesn't have the common manners to call the person that says, well, I don't want to follow through. What do? They leave the other person sitting there. I remember one time, it wasn't even a date. I was seeking to find an apartment that I had to move to. Spoke to the person over the phone. Everything was fine. They kept calling me up. Are you sure you're going to be there? Person gave me a spot in which to stand. And I was out there. I arrived 10 minutes before the person was to be there. Now, what the person didn't realize was that I'm a person of psychic empathic ability and intuitive ability. And at some point, I saw this man come around the corner, make his turn, and drive. Now, we're on a side street, so in that little area, you can't do any more than 30 miles an hour. Where the main road, you can do 45, 50 miles an hour. But where he had me stand, I knew the history of that neighborhood. And so when I say that, when I was a youngster, that particular area had a lot of unrest. A lot of unrest. They had their own gangs going on in there. Then they had their racist issues up in there. And at this time, this particular area now was supposed to be cleared out. So it was like a mixture of different cultures, people from different cultures living right in this area. But this particular gentleman, I know that I saw him drive past because he was the only one that drove past me looking straight ahead, looking at me, looking straight ahead, and then looking like he's checking his rear view mirror, and then drive past me again, and then make a U-turn. The whole time, not saying anything to me. After being there for a while, I decided, okay, well, let me wait. Maybe I'm, seeing too much into it. And I waited later. I called back. Gentleman picked up the phone about an hour and a half later. I says, excuse me, I've been waiting here for a while and you didn't make it. He says, oh, I was there, but you weren't there. So I described his car to him. And he immediately got upset. Immediately got upset. And I told him, I said, if you didn't want to meet me, just say so. It's all right. Rather than have me come 30, 40 minutes out of my way and then you don't do your part. Or because you're having an internal issue about something that happened to you in your past. So sometimes words lead to actions, but words also give off images. And when words give off images, images like words and sounds give off energy. That energy can draw you back into the past where you were stuck, immobilized, couldn't go anywhere. Maybe you went through some motions of fear, anxiety, a great deal of stress, anger. So many things have happened to us in the past or just the immediate past. Could have been just a couple of weeks ago. Or maybe there's this pattern that we all have grown accustomed to, and then this pattern causes us to repeat or to make a decision based on some energy that we're feeling. But usually the energy is not of the current situation. The energy is an overload of energy from the past. So, likewise, our words that we use, the words that we hear, are loaded with energy, be it positive energy or negative energy. But we know for sure when we have the experience, and we know for sure, we begin to see just how uncomfortable life's experiences can be because we're going through a situation over and over and over and over and over. Words. Some people are excellent with words. We call them word crafters or wordsmiths. They could write. You ever see people what they do write ad copy? Uh, there's something that has to go into a newspaper or online, and they know the right kind of words to use in order to sell a project or a product or a service. And usually what it is the words that they use are carry a lot of emotional energy. Now, for years, when people used to do multi-level marketing, one of the favorite words and phrases that were used over and over again were, you've got to take massive action. Not just action, massive action. Because mass means something huge, something big. Now it's massive. It becomes what? An adjective. The type of action you have to literally hurdle yourself toward an opportunity or into a vast arena of opportunities. But it was designed to get you emotionally excited. The words, the phrasing, massive action. People would hear that so many times at multi level marketing meetings that they were either pumped up or pumped out. And I would say in the beginning, I would get pumped up, but then pumped out because you're in a group of people, everybody's excited, everybody's leaning on the same words, the same energy of those words. And then, of course, when you leave there, you got your social time with everybody for 30, 40 minutes after sitting around for an hour and a half. The first hour watching something on somebody's TV, right, or on their screen, a DVD, or listening to an audio, and then that person guiding you through it, and then their people on their team guiding you and talking about it, and then you spend the next 30, 40 minutes, talking about it over tea and crumpets or cookies or snacks. Then you leave there and you're hyped. But what happens 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, 96 hours, and so forth? Usually, what happens is somewhere between 72 hours and beyond, people start losing steam. Why? You don't have those people around you to keep you pumped up. You don't have your sponsors. You don't have your team. Okay? And maybe it's not just the team or the sponsors. Sometimes it's the product. I've tried in my day, I tried Herbalife when it first came out. That was way back in the 1980s, Herbalife. Way back then. It's still around now. Tried Shackley. Shackley's still around. I used to do Shackley. I used to do Herbalife. There was one called Eureka. And then there was a big one in 2006, 2007, 2008, where the guy took it on Oprah's show, and Dr. Oz and his daughter were selling it, and it was called Vemma, Vemma. And that was drinking mangosteen mixed with some other juices like a cranberry juice, and you drank about 2 ounces of this stuff every day. And yeah, I got a little energy surge, but I got a little down surge from it too. Why? Because it wasn't easy to sell. And usually they tell you go to your warm market. See the words again, warm. kind, people that are, you feel close to. That's why it's called a warm market. Who's in your warm market? They would tell you. Your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers. But usually what would happen is if they have been involved in trying to sell things, and that time when I was selling Vima, I was doing another one called Automatic Builder. And I stopped doing Automatic Builder because their products had nothing but sugar. Nothing but sugar laced throughout their entire products that they were selling. And berry and all these other things. It got to be into a point where many of my friends wanted me to give them a discount. And so then what people like Vima and Berry and Automatic Builder, all these would have you do is they would have you give away some of the product. Let people try it for 90 days, just giving it away 60 days, 30 days, until maybe someone jumped on your wagon, so to speak, and signed up. But I'm just bringing this up as an example how words that we utilize all the time, words that we use, embedded with a lot of energy and a lot of memory, words embedded with a lot of memory in them, can cause you to become overexcited or have no energy. Because the words are designed to do what? To catapult you forward. Hopefully, have you jump through a hoop fast enough so that the person who sponsored you in the first place can kind of sit back and relax because they know all they need is they got two streams of income. One, they're selling the product, and the other line, they're signing up people who are also going to sell the product as well as sign up people who are also going to sell the product and sign up people. And long ago, you had to get 10, 10 in each line, then 5 in each line, then 5 and 2, then 2 and 2. That's all you needed. And hopefully you help somebody else repeat the same process. It's all about using words. Salespeople learn to use words. Good salespeople use words. But people who know themselves well enough, they know that the product can sell itself. That's when it comes to clothes and cars. Cars sell themselves. Why? The person who seeking to buy a car, they know what kind of car they want. So the car is going to sell itself. You're going out to buy clothes. The clothes are going to sell themselves because you know what you're looking for. Most of the time, you're just seeking your size and an array of colors that look nice on you and a particular style that you like to wear. Now, the people that have that beat, though, is the person who can make their own clothes. Then they don't have to worry about that. So, words. Words can empower us. Words activate us, right? Words empower us, and words, therefore, before we get empowered, we have to get in action. We have to be able to move in a direction or be prepared to move in the direction, or I will say directions, that we want to go in. We know we have the highs and the lows, or they say the peaks and the valleys. We know about that. We know that we're going to have some roadblocks. We know about that. But we don't have to constantly and consciously affirm that we're going to have some roadblocks. We don't have to conjure it up in our mind that we're going to have a roadblock. We don't have to do that. What we have to do is allow ourselves to know that we're always in the right moment. Now, that can be difficult, as many of us know, and many of you listening to the show, you know that can be difficult at times, right? When someone says, well, everything is in divine order, and if it's slow, that's the way it's supposed to go. Well, it depends on what you're doing. If you're depending on other people who are supposed to be working with you on a project, that's not divine order. That's just the everyday human order of things. where you're going to have some errors in there. That's what I was talking about yesterday. You're going to have trial and error. Trial, you feel like a trial and a jury and a judge because you're trying it out. And because you are trying it out doesn't mean that you really trust in what you're about to do, what you're getting ready to do. You're not sure. So you're going to have a trial and error. Sometimes we buy a product. Well, you can't buy clothes often and say, I'm going to try them on, and then if they break, I don't pay for them. But you know, sure enough, if you got some type of product, sometimes they'll tell you, they'll give you up to 30 days to try out that product. And if you don't like it, send it back. Most people don't want to go through the hassle of sending it back, or most people do what? They wait too long, and then the trial and error period kicks in. The trial period is over because an error has been made. And I'll give you another example. I used to, long ago, when I lived on Long Island, back in the late 70s, going into the early 80s, I used to work actually the mid 80s into the late 80s. I used to work for the old Doubleday Books Publishing Company, and they would have fireside chat books, and that was the kind of books that could be romance books or mystery books, you know, the kind that make you think you should be in a cabin and you're reading it. They would have, you know, detective books. I remember the books that were turned into movies, like The Hunt for Red October, where Harrison Ford played the main character. All of those books, Stephen King's books, were there that we sold too. And the whole thing with the Doubleday books was you could, well, the whole idea was you would offer a whole bunch of free stuff up front. A tote bag, if you would give them 4 free books plus a tote bag, and then all they had to do was pick two more books out of one category. That was easy. The hard part was giving somebody 4 books plus a tote bag, and then giving them 4 different categories or one category, and they got to pick 4 books. Now, the thing is, when they got all of that stuff, it was up to the customer to be able to open the box and start getting into reading the books. Why? Because 2 weeks after they got all of those books, 8 books in a tote bag, and 2 of them they're paying for after they got them, or 6, what they would have to do is start paying the membership. 9 times out of 10, every 4 weeks they would get books, right? Now, what they had to do, they were ordering the books. And what happened, most people got these books coming so fast, they didn't have time to read the book. Who's going to read a book in 4 weeks? 2 books in 4 weeks. 2 books in 8 weeks. Plus, if you got a job and you have a family, you might have a part-time job, a full-time job, you go into school. Who has that kind of time? But those book publishing companies knew that. And most of the time, only a small percentage of people actually could keep up with that flow. Keep up with the flow so well that they would buy more. They would take that particular book club, keep that one going. Then they go into a children's book club to get something for their children. And then they get a special thing for, or the book club that they're in. They would pick a series of books that they would give to their spouse because they knew they weren't going to read all of these books. But the fact that the company could send the book out, or me being the salesperson, telemarketer, I had to sell them on the idea that they're going to get 4 free books and they're going to get a tote bag. Or sometimes you give them 4 free books, 6 free books, a tote bag, a mug, or an umbrella. And all these things are emotional objects. So the person would buy into the book club. Words. We use words all the time. I can either bore you with my language, or I can keep you enthralled in what I'm saying, keep you intrigued, keep you right here, or I can have you disconnect based on something that I said that could be demeaning or hurtful. Words. So we always have to pay attention to these words. What kind of words are we using? What kind of inflection are we placing on the words? Maybe we're trying to, well, here's that word again, trying. Maybe we're hoping to restore ourselves so that we become more powerful. So, how can we do that? Well, we do our best, and when it's difficult, because here I am, I'm in my mid 60s. That word has been embedded in my own consciousness by just so many people using it all the time. And I just used it but chopped it off. That was the word try or trying. And I switched it to hoping. So, what would we like to do here? What is the strongest point of all of this right now? Because it's just an introductory. Next Wednesday, I'm going to go a little further on my Blog Talk Radio show and pull out some more words, but I'm going to use more empowering words. And I'm going to start that with right about now, giving you an empowering word. If I wanted to help, or if you wanted to help activate your consciousness, what kind of word could you use to help activate your consciousness? What kind of word or words or phrases could you use to motivate you, to activate you, to cause and allow you to feel better, to cause and allow you to have greater value, to know that you deserve everything? So if we took a moment, what could some of those words be? Or how could we put those words into motion? Well, that's where affirmations and decrees come into play. See, you can affirm something. When you affirm something, you're saying that what you're saying and what you have knowledge about is absolutely true to you. So therefore, you stand firmly on what you're saying. You can stand firmly on the fact that what you are saying is valid for you. And that's the way that you choose. You choose to live your life. And when you are living your life according to the words that come up out of your heart, rather than out of your mind, when the words are coming up out of your heart, you are causing yourself to feel greater bliss, to feel more harmony, to feel more peace, to feel that you are a valuable person, that you have something to offer, and what you have to offer other people works, or what you have to offer serves you, and you become the example, and then people see that energy in you. This is the beauty of words, understanding how we can use words to enhance our life. How can we use words? People say, well, when we pray, we always had that question, who are we praying to? Someone outside of ourselves or someone within ourselves? People always are beginning to say more and more that the ancestors that you are praying to are the ancestors in you. You are a product of your ancestors. So you're kicking forth this energy inside yourself to reawaken yourself to the fact that you are also an advanced, you're in that advanced lineage, not going back, going forward. You are what the ancestors are. The only difference is you have a completely different landscape to travel upon. There's some different people to come in contact with, different experiences that are created and molded by you and others, different experiences and outcomes. You have different tools. Of course, you got a more modern, updated thing like a cell phone that your ancestors didn't have. But they had what we used to call in the South, they had mother wit, which was common sense. When you had mother wit, common sense, your mother wit was your intuitive nature, your natural empathic nature that allowed you to know if someone was telling you the truth or not. You had body truth, right? Someone speaks to you and oop, the hairs rise up off your skin. You knew from those signals alone that what you were hearing was from the heart. You didn't have to guess. When we live from our heart, we know that we have a greater balance. We know that we can achieve more. Scientists and psychologists have talked about it for 40 years or more. Emotional intelligence. When a child got hugged for something that they did, even if it was something incorrect, but they weren't scolded, they were brought into an embrace and explained what was not correct and how something could be done better. And then given the encouragement to make a better decision. Emotional intelligence kicks forward, as opposed to someone who gets screamed at or someone who gets isolated, pushed away, or told, you never amount to anything, you can't do anything, you don't have it in you. All these things happen all the time. So perhaps one of our opportunities here is to begin to think about words. And to take that a further step, there's an old cliche that says, think before you speak. Think before you act. Well, how about feel before you think? Feel before you speak. Feel before you act. Feel before you react. In other words, put out your sensory antennas, your empathic antenna, your intuitive antenna, your psychic antenna, and start to feel stuff. Feel where a conversation is going on around you. Feel where the energy of the environment is. It moving where the people are happy or getting along, or does it feel like there's a bit of agitation in the air? We have to use our senses. We have to be able to smell what's going on. People used to have a phrase for that too. Something smells fishy in here. Doesn't smell right. That means they didn't sense that it was okay. So you might smell your experiences. You're going to taste your experiences. You're going to touch your experiences. You're going to hear your experiences, and you're going to see them. And the very unique thing is all of them are based on touch. Light touches the retina and the lenses in your eye, cornea in your eye, optical nerves in your eye. Sound beats off the little hammer bone that beats on the hearing drum in your ear, and it's making sound. You're clairsentient, so you have to sense the light of sound coming through you. You're clairaudient. You have to sense the light of hearing coming up in the base of your throat, which, by the way, runs tubes up into your ears. If your ears are clogged, you don't even think if you're hearing something correctly. Everything is based on touch. Everything. Touch is a part of like earth. So everything that's in spirit around us is also what? Encapsulated in the earth. So we have to what? Reconnect the sources of energy that we have, which is called resourcing. That's what, if you are familiar with one of the classical tarot cards, which is the star card. And in the eight-pointed star of Venus, there's a woman there, bare or nude, and she has two urns, two pitchers. Both are filled with water, which is supposed to represent the elixirs of life itself, the purity of being in the womb, the nourishment. And she's pouring one out of one pitcher back into the lake, and the other pitcher she pours back onto the earth. She's activating her memory in the water, and she's activating her consciousness upon the earth. We are doing the same through the power of our language and the words that we speak. We're allowing ourselves to be aware of everything that we hear and everything that we experience. We allow ourselves to begin to remember, to draw upon the depths of our consciousness, even our unconscious self, to clear the path. You might see the unconscious self as sandbags leaning up against the door of the subconscious. You got to be able to consciously open the doors of the subconscious, and you got to get all the debris out of the way that belongs to the unconscious self. The side that's not trusting, not knowing, not understanding, not having any sense of peace, harmony, hope, happiness, no sense of value, no sense of faith, no sense of unconditional love, doesn't even know what it means. The power of our words. Now, if you just notice how I said that, the power, I put a little emotional punch behind it, emotional energy. So when we speak, we know people can get you involved in a conversation, not when their hands are down, what? When their hands are free, because you're seeing the whole body get into the conversation. Some people turn their head real fast before they say something. They respond. It's just a second nature. They've done it over and over and over. They don't even realize that they do it. And I've seen people do it. Turn their head real fast, and then they say something. You say something, they respond, turn their head, and move their body quickly, and then they speak. It's all energy. This would be good for us to study Qigong or pranic healing, Tai Chi Chuan, or the non-combative style, which is just Tai Chi, is to allow ourselves to feel energy and what energy truly feels like to us. I'm going to give you something now to change the topic just slightly. Just slightly. One of my guides is Akhenaten. I have a strong connection to Akhenaten. And I was, through my higher self, into him, I was asking, what does the person who has reached a very great height in their spiritual walk, be it either the shamanic side, the occult side, which is the magical side with the K, the power again of their words, their sight, how does the I, and people say, I, the letter I, then the EYEI, but how does the I play a part in what we are seeing? Because obviously we have it. It's an organ that comes into being that is utilized to see energy. How do we see this energy? Or is there any exercises I could practice, or I should be aware of, or that I can remember? And he addresses me as a Menitan, and he says, do this, a Menitan. Do what I taught you long ago. When you are looking straight ahead, people call it in your time narrow-mindedness, narrow-sighted, because you're only looking straight ahead like a horse with blinders. He said, take your own hand, put your hand in front, either hand, right in front, not between the center line, but off so that you could see it. And start paying attention to what's right there rather than what's right here. And what happens is all that's here begins to get unfocused, and all that's here starts to get stronger. And what happens is you begin to notice energy. It's as if your hand or the object that you choose to look at is vibrating before you. And in its uppermost reality, it is vibrating. Its molecular and what? Atomic structure is moving. You ought to try that. Put your palm on the back of your hand, but your palm, let it face you comfortably within about 6 inches or so, 4 inches from you, and you're looking past it, looking past the ridge, but you start paying more attention to what you're feeling about your hand. And you'll notice that at least this edge gets clear, and right on the inside starts clearing up. And you can look that way if you so choose and notice that you are aware of that. Not because you just see your hand millions of times, but because you're focusing on the energy that it's giving off. Take your other hand, put it up. Focus on that hand too. Look straight ahead. If you do it just right, the whole hand and arm will begin to tingle. Not because you have it up, not because the blood is flowing through either, and not just the chi, it's both of them, and then your conscious awareness that you have your hands up and you're putting as much attention as you can toward your hands, where whatever else is behind your hands, past your hands, no longer matters. Now, what does that do, though? According to the experience that I had, it made my eyes tingle. First, my eyes were tearing. I got past that, and way back on the back end of the eye, I start feeling stuff. Well, according to Akhenaten here, if we start to study the human eye, the eye that we are using, you have the cones on the back of your eye. These are sensors, not only for light, but for color. But they also become sensors for movement. So now you have light coming in, color coming in, and what? You're sensing them as energy. As you begin to sense them as energy, the whole perspective shifts. You're just not seeing the physical side of you. You're no longer seeing the physical side of objects around you. You see them differently. You see them like you're supposed to, spatially, like a chord. For instance, I'll get the red pen because you can see the red pen. If you start looking at a red pen or black pen, it will at some point appear to you to be flat, which is what? One-dimensional and two-dimensional, flat. You get three-dimensional perspective kicks in. So what happens is, because you're noticing something that is so close without really looking at it, but looking past it, putting it right in the range of your sight, eventually you are training yourself to see this as well as that. So I'm training myself to see this and that at the same time with the same amount of detail. Only difference is this is closer than this one. If I did it in reverse, put the red one past and the dark one in front of me, I should have almost the same thing. If you're an artist, you experience the same thing if you're an artist. When you're studying art, you have to look at everything. Not only are you looking at a still life or a forest scene or a seascape or a cityscape, but you begin to not just pay attention to the light, how light hits trees and buildings and objects and plants and people and the ground, but you start paying attention to how the light is coming between you and what you're looking at. So let's formulate a little exercise. We're about 50 minutes into our program. Let's formulate a little exercise. As I say, I'm broadcasting through my phone, so I'm going to cut down this format. Instead of doing 90 minutes, we'll probably get in another 15 minutes or so. Let's say at this moment, I just want you to create a meditation from this. I'm going to take this block of wood. It's I think it's Sal Palmo. I won't use this. I'm going to use a stone. It's almost shaped like a heart, you see. I show it to you this way. It has a little heart configuration. We're going to grab something that's small. It could be a crystal. And it doesn't have to be smooth. It'd be better if it's a little rough on the surface. And I want you to touch it. Use your thumb, which is the will of your mind in palmistry. Use your thumb, use your index finger. Your middle finger is your ego, your own individual personality. And the index finger is your power and authority kind of finger. So you're giving yourself the power and authority through your individual character with your wisdom, which is your middle finger, Saturn, to expand your awareness, which is your index finger, which is Jupiter, into the thumb, which is the will of the mind, the will of you. And you're going to allow yourself to decree this energy up out of the object that you have in your hand. By just thinking that alone and feeling that, to you, that object is real. It's not just an inorganic, inanimate object, but it is real to you. And I want you to begin to just look at it. But just don't look at it being what it is. Look at it within the field of sight. See, it's not something that is separate. It's something that is a part of everything. This will teach us and show us that everything is connected. It's just not some random rock or crystal that you happen to have in your hand that you just seem to be floating around with, and it makes absolutely no sense to you. But you have it. You're holding on to it. Be aware of it. Be aware that it's right in front of you. You see all of its possible angles and ridges and points. You're just paying attention to it, its surface. This one here in the back reminds me of the ground out here. So you just pay attention to it. Be aware of it. Now, you're recording, though, not only with your eyesight, but with sense of touch. Place it down. As you place it down, you have the sensation of touch along your fingers now. You've been holding it for a while. All that information went through your body. You feel a semblance of that energy in the space between you and your computer screen. As you begin to take this energy in, you start to record it internally, what you felt about it. You realize it's more than just a piece of stone or rock or formulated dirt, compacted together. It's full of life and energy every time you look at it and touch it. But remember, it's not down here, it's up here, just like your hand. So here's an extension of this meditative exercise. Close your eyes. Go into your direct conscious memory of it, the object. Coil it up, the sensation of feeling it. Open your eyes. Just gaze straight ahead. You may have gotten a blip of white light over your left or your right eye, which tells you you're in sync with the message here, the energy. You're not separated from anything. All things are together. You're taking it in. You're absorbing it. You're one with the energy. Now you can simply say this: I see and decree that the particles of light that are around me, whether it's an inch from my face or eye or 10 inches away, it's all activated, it's all alive. And as I gaze through the space between myself and the computer screen, I begin to feel the energy. Now, just like I said in the early part of the program, when a person is conducting sales about anything, they apply some emotional energy. So I want you to implement some emotional energy into the words. I see. Know that you can see. And decree. And also that you could speak the word into the environment. That the stone, the crystal, is alive. The stone or crystal, the energy that it gives off is right in front of me. It's not at a distance from me. The energy around me is alive, and I can feel it. And I see and decree that this is true. I understand that this is true. And the feeling that it gives me is healing, so healing. That I can be bathed in this energy. So begin to take on that feeling. You can be bathed by this energy. You feel it. It's not out there. It's not beyond you. It's right here. You can feel this energy. You can feel the heaviness of it, or you can feel the lightness of it. But not only that, you can feel the air around you and the object, the stone, the crystal, the plant. You can feel the energy. Close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale again. Now exhale through the nose. Open your eyes and just feel the energy that has now expanded itself, and as if you are bathing your eyes in the energy. It's not away from you, it's right in front of you. So what does this kind of exercise help you to do? One of the things it helps you to do is to pay attention to energy in your space, in your personal space, which is the end of your fingertip back to your body, all the way around your body, to pay attention to the space just beyond that, to pay attention to all the space around you. That's what you want to do. You want to pay attention to all the space around you. Because when you can pay attention to all the space around you, you become aware of what's going on around you. That's the whole idea. You become aware. So that means somebody could be speaking about you or thinking about calling you, and you feel them right in your personal space or just outside of your personal space, or you're wanting to connect with an angel guide or another spirit guide or a spiritual deity, whatever. You feel them here and not out here. The next time you go for a walk, see if you can feel the energy rising up off the ground. How many of you remember on a hot day, hot muggy day, you look just past you or just in front of you and you see the waves of the heat coming up off the street? Or you see these fine misty pellets. I'm not sure, it could be dust, but if you look closely through it, little lines of energy. We're coming back into that now where you're going to be able to see those little lines of energy, wavy lines of heat and lines of energy, which are frequency lines. And these lines are going to be impacting and influencing the spaces of air that you're walking through, the atmosphere. You're going to be able to pay attention and realize there's something there. This is why if you can practice Tai Chi and do some hand movements, feel the magnetism and the flow, you'll realize there's energy there. If there wasn't, you wouldn't feel a thing. It would feel so wide open. But because you can feel electromagnetic energy around your body, you begin to feel this energy. Now, I know I'm on point because I just got a flash. Somebody's going to hear this show later and they're going to try this out. A couple of people are going to listen to the show later and you're going to try this out. You're going to put it into motion. Not just try it, you're going to do it. Take any object, any crystal. I'll call it the burning wood. You could even take this. But no matter what, it could be a pair of sunglasses. It could be a drinking cup. Someone gave you this. My beautiful family, they gave me this owl. But you're going to take something that you can relate to, and you're going to get to know it. Let that be a homework assignment. We're not going to review the homework assignment too much. We might talk about this a little bit more next week. But want you to begin to pull on this energy. Energy is all around us. Start to pull on the energy that is around you. Start to pay attention to the energy that you feel. Begin to direct the energy around your body through the power of your breathing. So that when you say, I see and decree, that means without any doubt in your mind, you know that what you're stating is a real fact, is a real experience for you. It's not shallow to you. You could feel the vibration several feet ahead of you. And if you can begin to practice feeling the energy ahead of you, you'll be able to feel the energy on the side of you. You'll be able to feel the energy behind you, above you, and beneath you. That is the whole concept of what I'm talking about. Paying attention to the energy that you feel. See, before people speak, you will hear them. You will sense them about to say something. You'll get into a very strong habit. You will sense someone breathing around you. You will sense not only their breath, the rhythm of their breath, and the rhythm of their heartbeat. Brainwave level. But at first, you have to do it with yourself. You have to pay attention. So practice that exercise, putting your palm in front of you, about 5 inches away if you like, or closer. Look at it one time. Close your eyes, look at it one time, close your eyes, look straight ahead. But first, you're going to draw on your memory. But soon you're going to realize it's not your memory. Your hand is actually giving you information. And if your hand is giving you information, when you stick your hands on, your whole arms are giving you information. Your whole body is giving you information, front, back, all around. Your head, doesn't matter if you have, I got on a fedora, doesn't matter. I'm going to feel the energy coming through. Do you know that animals already know this? They can hear hot dogs, can hear high pitches. Cats can sense when you're coming around, especially if they live in a house with you. They put their chi out so far that they know. They start coming out and sitting because they know you're coming. And then present themselves. Make themselves known to you that they've been waiting on you. You just started thinking about them, but they've been thinking about you all day, off and on. You're having a communication with them all day long. Telepathic communication. I'm going to take a break for this moment and just let you know that you could purchase 5 basic spiritual courses that I have. Each one of the courses of the 5 sell for $27 a piece, but if you buy all 5, you save about $17 and get all of them for $118, and they get emailed to you. They're done in PDF format, print down format. And there's one on numerology, which is the key to life is numerology. The subtitle is numerology is the shorthand of astrology. There's white light meditation with energetic shields. There's the art of manifesting your heart's desires, or through the 10 fields of awareness, as it's also related to. Then there's understanding your dreams. And then the last is Tarot Basics 1, 2, 3. And it's the basics of reading most of the classical tarot decks that are out on the market that a lot of the other tarot decks are based on. And it's how to look at the 22 major arcana cards, how to look at the 56 minor arcana cards, and how to look at the maps of consciousness, which are called the tarot spreads and layouts. And I give some living examples on how you could read the cards. I show you at the very end my favorite that I came up with, which has 16 cards. But I'll show you how to do a 5 card, a 7 card, a 3 card spread. Or with the 3 card spread, we call the radio spread. If you ever been on radio and you're reading somebody and you just pull out 3 cards or 1 card. So I'll show you all of that in each one of these 5 PDFs by the titles, $27 a piece. And if you'd like to get one, all you have to do is send me an email, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, to iam.circlegrace1@yahoo.com or iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com. Tell me which one that you like. I can send you the email explaining them. You send me which one that you like, an email. You might want just 3 of them at $27 each, or 4 of them, or 2 of them, or 1 of them, or you might want all 5. If you want all 5, whichever one you want, you tell me, and then I'll send you back to your private email address a PayPal invoice, and the invoice will give you the amount and what you ordered, and you just click on that little button, that view your bill button and pay button right there in the email, and you'll be able to pay with a debit or credit card, be encrypted for you. I don't even see the information, which is fabulous. I'll just know when the transaction's complete, then you'll get it. If you wait toward the weekend to order, you have to give me 72 hours. But if you order during the week, you can get it within 24 to 48 hours. So jump on it right away. Maybe you want to gift it for somebody else instead of yourself. I'm on every Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio. I have a channel called The Age of Remembrance, and I broadcast at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is on the Pacific Time Zone. That's 3 p.m. If you're in Central Time Zone, that is 5 p.m. And if you're on the East Coast, that is 6 p.m. It's a 30-minute show, or a little under 30 minutes. and I come on and I talk about various subject matters. Well, I'm going to repeat what I did yesterday, and it's about how you become through the words that you use. And it's just a continuation of talking about you become what you say. Whatever you speak, that's what you are. So I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to use some uplifting, empowering words that will help activate your self empowerment and allow you to achieve even in greater steps. Maybe you want to overcome fear and doubt and procrastination and all these other things. So I'm going to help you do that by working with words. I'm here every Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, as well as 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on Ustream. So if you go to Blog Talk Radio, you type in the Age of Remembrance and then look for my channel page, which is the Age of Remembrance. The subtitle will say Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance, and you're right there. Just tune right in at 4 o'clock. When you listen on every Wednesday, if you're not by the computer, you can call the studio number and listen that way. Now, that number is 347 677 0851. That's 347 677 0851 for the Blog Talk Radio Show. Now, here we don't have a Blog Talk has a chat room, but here we just have a chat room. So you can chat with me on Ustream.tv, Circle Grace 1 with myself, Brother Francis Revels-Bey. Well, I'm getting ready to sign off. I'm glad I was able to do this. So I think this is about the second or third time I've used my mobile phone with a Ustream app to get out this show. So next week I will be back at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific or Pacific, and 7 p.m. Eastern for another 75 to 90 minutes. We might delve into some spiritual readings uh, and also some more teachings. Maybe I might use a little bit of Reverend Ike's teachings or Dr. Paul Leon Masters' works, or I might delve into the late Wayne Dyer's work and put out some information that we all can utilize right at that moment. Well, we're got 3 minutes left to go. My other contact information besides iam.circlegrace1 at yahoo.com or iam.circlegrace1 at gmail.com, you could Skype me. You can find me on Skype as Brother Francis Revels-Bey right there in the directory. Or I'll give you my direct Skype number, which is 505 349 4722. That's my brand new Skype number. Or you can call I have a Magic Jack line hooked up in there too, which is a prayer, meditation, and decree line. You listen to a 2 minute all purpose decree 24/7. Just dial 505 717 4722. Clearly state your name, your 10-digit phone number, the best time that I could call you back, and I'll get right back with you as soon as I can. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon. Thank you for joining me. And this show will be uploaded into YouTube within the next hour on my YouTube channel, Circle Grace 1. Take care now. See you soon.